finished 1.1, and we're going to use your graphing calculator to do all of this stuff. Okay, so here is the frustrating part that we need to talk about. When you're using your graphing calculator, first, we kind of discussed this a little bit yesterday. You have to rewrite the equation to isolate the variable. You have to rewrite the equation to isolate y. The second step of putting it in your graphing calculator is enter the equation in the graphing utility. That would be under y equals. The third step is to set your viewing window. This is the step everyone hates and they get frustrated with. We're going to talk about how to do that. And then the last step is to simply graph the equation. You have to hit the button that says graph. Well, if you would bring one to class, we could teach you how to use one. Okay, so we are going to look at a graph, and we're going to put it in our graphing calculator, and we're going to discuss what window and what things to put in for this. We're going to look at 3 or 4 of them, actually. So let's start with this. How would I put this into my graphing calculator, and how would it look? This is what I want to know. Y equals negative 0.5 x cubed plus 2x. Is it in y equals form?
Yeah.
Yes. So then all I have to do is go to step 2, which is enter equation in the graphing calculator. So hit the y equals button. If there is something in that, you need to clear it.
What is the y equal?
It's above the second button, above the blue button. Okay. So if there's something already listed in that equation, or in that first line of y equals, just press clear. Now we're going to plug this in. When we plug this equation in, we need to make sure we do it properly with parentheses or things if we need them. Okay? On this one, I don't necessarily need any parentheses. So if I just press negative, the negative button is not the minus sign. It is the one under the 3 that you're going to press. So negative 0.5. Then the X button is next to the green button, alpha. To get the cube, you have to use the caret button and press 3, which the caret button is under the button clear, above the division sign. It's going to stay up there until you press the over key, the arrow key that goes to the left. So you have negative 0.5 x cubed. Press the over key, it's going to come back down. You press plus 2x, and then we need to hit the button that says window and double check the window. Okay. So you have the equations in the calculator. Okay. Press, no, Alex?
What? No.
Okay. Okay. Press the window button. Now, I know that the standard viewing window will work for this because these are small numbers. This is a half, this is 2. So if I use my x minimum as negative 10, my x maximum as 10, if I count by ones, y minimum as 10, or negative 10, and y maximum as 10, and count by ones, I know that's going to graph.
Hold on, slow down. Y minimum is what?
The y minimum should be negative 10. It should be the standard viewing window. Was it set to standard yet or not? Yours is set to what? So if you press window, it should come up and it should say X min, X max.
It does that, but it's like a whole bunch of numbers already there.
Right.
What's the
Right.
tots?
Does this
Yes.
look like yours?
You need to make the, and then change your Y scale to 1 also.
My Y scale says 10.
That's good. Your Y scale should count by ones. You're gonna want to count by ones. And then when you do that, you can press graph after you get your window set. Here's the deal. When you are using a graphing calculator, if your window is not set correctly, you won't get a graph.
Do we take graph?
Yes, hit graph. And you should have a graph that looks like this, something along these lines. So your graph should look something like that, yes?
Should I hit quit or go to?
For what?
It says static or error.
Okay, so if it says error, just press clear, and then we have to figure out where your error is. Let's double check your equation. Go to y equals. Yes. Yeah. Right here, the +2. So negative 0.5 x to the 3, and then you have to say plus 2 x.
The next button.
I hit this button, but yours is different than mine, so yours is different than everybody else's. Yours is less things. So you're gonna now graph that. So you don't have to press an arrow button to get it back out of the caret form up top. Okay. Let's try another one. Let's try this. Tell me what I need to do to this equation to graph it. X squared plus y squared equals 9. We need to get it into y equals. Good. So how do I get it into y equals?
Is that part of the exercise?
You subtract x squared from both sides, and I get y squared equals 9 minus x squared. Then what do I do? You take the square root. Good, Lindsay. So y equals the square root of 9 minus x squared. I can plug that into my graphing calculator. Okay? Go to y equals again. You're going to clear the stuff you had from the first one. Yes. Do you know how to get the radical? If you hit the blue second and then hit x squared, you'll get a radical.
I hit second and I hit x squared.
Yes. And then 9 minus, and then you're going to say x, and then you're going to square it, and then you're going to hit graph. But I'm going to tell you there's something wrong with this graph, and we're going to talk about it in a second.
It's a sad face.
Okay, so you only get, when you graph this right here, you only get this curve, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not the correct graph of this. Here's why. This is a radical.
That's negative.
What is this form? What is x squared plus y squared equals 9? What type of equation is that? It graphs a specific type of equation.
Shoot.
A what, Lindsay? A circle. Is that a circle that's on the board? No. So we have to talk about how to get the second part of that to show up in your graph.
You do it twice.
Just draw it.
Put a negative.
Wait, so you're supposed to get a circle?
Yes. So yes, actually, Alex, you are correct in what you just said. So I'm going to actually graph. I'm going to have this as my first graph, and then my second graph is going to have this. So if you go into y equals, now you're going to go down to line 2 and put in a second equation of negative radical 9 minus x squared. Now you can't have negatives in the radical, like a negative. That gives you an imaginary number. Now you get a full circle. So anytime you see a radical equation, you need to put in 2 equations.
Wait, if you're just in the test, if there's a question literally just like that, come up with half a circle, can you just draw the second half?
No, because I'm going to ask you to write both equations down with it. And your common sense would have to kick in too and tell you, I need to draw half a circle. A lot of times that doesn't actually happen. Okay. The other way that we can use our graphing calculator, like we talked about before, we're going to look at something else. Let's talk about this equation. And I'm going to show you how we can find some extra data to make life easier. Okay, so let's say you have the equation y equals 2,000 plus 0.1x. Okay? And it says you receive a monthly salary of $2,000 plus a commission of 10% of sales. So that's this equation here. You receive $2,000 a month plus 10% commission, okay, of all your sales. Sales are $1,480 in August. So you make $1,480 in August. What are your wages for that month? Okay? I could do that algebraically. I could spend time doing that, or I can plug it in my graphing calculator and then use some data information. So, go back to your y equals. Clear both of your y equals out. Plug this equation into spot 1. So you're going to put 2,000 plus 0.1x. Now, do you think we'll be able to graph this?
Probably not.
No. Because what's going to be wrong that needs changed?
Window.
Your window. So go to the window. Okay. Yeah, I knew that was coming. Because I thought of it. Okay, so my y-intercept is 2,000 here, yes? If you think about it, what's in y equals 4, okay? It's 2,000. So my x minimum and my x maximum, I don't even know where we want to start with that.
Let's go with 2,000. 190.
Let's go our x minimum to be 0, because we're not going to go into the negative money-wise, right? And let's do our x maximum to be, let's say we made like 14 sales. So let's go x maximum to 20, just to leave it like that. Because my x is what I'm inputting. I'm inputting how many sales I made, okay? And then we'll just do our x scale at 1 still. Our y minimum, again, is going to be 0, because I'm not going to have negative amounts here. But this is already at 2,000, so what do you think our maximum should be? We need to give it some room. 3,000. So actually, let's make our minimum 2,000. And the reason I say that is because you can't make less than 2,000. Do you get what I'm saying?
Is this for the x or the y?
The y. The y minimum is 2,000. The y maximum is 3,000. And let's count by tens,
So why?
hundreds, no 50s. Let's count by 50s. Let's meet in the middle. So your y minimum is 2,000. Your y maximum is 3,000. Your y scale is 50. Press graph. Let's see if it will work. Well, sort of.
I got nothing.
Okay, you got nothing. It went flatline. That means that we aren't low enough. That means we need to make our window different for the x maximum. So let's make the x maximum 2,000, but let's make the minimum
1.
no. Let's make the minimum 2,000 again, and let's make the maximum 3,000 again. Let's see if this will work. Yeah, and then count by 50s. You're gonna get a different line.
Wait, x scale you want 50?
I want the x. Yeah, let's make the x the same as the y. Just make it easy. It's a gradual incline, okay? And it wants to know sales are $1,480 in August. Okay? It says sales equal $1,480 in August. Okay? And it wants to know what are your wages for that month. Okay? Here's how we can figure this out. You are going to do one of two things. You can either press the button that says trace and go until you see x equaling 1480. Okay, take the arrow and make it equal 1480, which on this,
1480.
yeah, which we are not going to get to because we're at 2,000, so we'd have to change our viewing window.
Wait, what are we doing? 14,000.
$14.80. But there's also an easier way. You can press the button second and graph. Do you see how above graph it says table? So if I press second and graph, it gives me a beautiful table of facts and figures. Press second and then the button graph. And it's going to give you a table. Go to where it says X is $14.80 because that's how much sales you made this month. So if you go all the way to $14.80, okay, $14.80. You have to scroll down. Just keep scrolling. I know.
You want us to go all the way to 80?
$14.80. $1,480.
What's that? I have to scroll all the way down.
You can type it in to X if you want to. Just type in 1480, enter, and it should do it. If not, you just scroll down. I'm there already. It's not that difficult. And then it will tell you how much money you cleared that month.
Mine's timed by 1. I am currently at 62.
Why are you at 62?
No, there's your cat.
I know, so was mine, but yours. But I started at a different number than you then.
I started at 1.
Yo,
Come here, boy.
yo, yo.
Come here.
No assignments.
Oh, here's.
Oh, I've seen that.
Okay, so if I go to the graph
Yeah.
and I press trace, I can
What about you put that on there?
Let's go to learn.
Wait, 1480.
yeah.
That's not in your sheet.
I don't know why yours is times. I'll have to go back later.
Mine's doing that too. Mine too. Mine's done. Mine's confused. That's my 3K.
Alex.
Okay, so if I.
You know, he has a song.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you use that table, you'll get to 1,480, and it will come out to say that it equals $2,148. So you made that month in commission $148, which makes sense because that's 10% of 1,480. That is what we're working on today.
God.